What's up, Pirates? Ray Talks here with Awaken TCG, and today we have a brand new video for you guys. So today we have obviously, as you can see here by the title of the video and by what is on the screen now, Zulu's November 7th win a box tournament. So this was the very first little tournament that we had to be able to play with these new ban lists. Obviously, we have news now that the ban list is going to end for OP05, which is good for Zoro players, law players, and for Whitebeard players. That those bans and restrictions are going to be lifted. But here we have a tournament kind of for this last stretch that we have OP04. We're going to have it with these Marco restrictions and the bans on the Dadan, Nami, and the Whitebeard. And so we're just going to go over kind of the basically the stats here. So we had 15 Katak Currys, which is definitely the largest number by far. That's almost double of the second. We see 8 Doflamingos. Obviously, since I won the regional with Doflamingo, it's definitely picked up in popularity, and with the recent ban list and restriction on the Marco, this deck only got better in my opinion, right? And so there's definitely going to be a lot going into Pasadena. And then we see 5 Namis. Again, another number that is pretty big, right? We're seeing more Namis than Crocs, more Namis than Queens. Which tells you for Pasadena this coming week there is going to be a lot of Namis. You can kind of follow this pattern here. We're not going to see as many laws, as many aces. And then this was a 64 player tournament. As you can see here, we have our leader breakdown for our top 16. So we had 5 Katak Currys, which is honestly pretty good, knowing there was 15 of them in the whole tournament and that 5 of them made it into top 16. 3 Dofis, which again is honestly a good percentage of the Doflamingos. 1 Kinemon, 1 Kid, 1 Arlong. So we have 1 Law, a OP01 Doflamingo, which is the mono blue. We have a Queen, a Magellan, and a Croc. So honestly, a very wide variety of decks. I think people obviously were testing new lists, they were testing new leaders, seeing what's viable, and so we just had like a wide variety of just leaders, new decks, and like it was a bunch of that stuff meshed into one tournament to see how it played out. So we're gonna go over 3 lists here. Obviously a Kinemon won a tournament like this, and then we have Don Quixote Doflamingo going second, which is the green purple. We have a Kid on third. We have a Katak Curry on fourth, Arlong fifth, another Doflamingo sixth, and then obviously I went 4-2 this tournament. I got 12th, which is not bad. I was definitely testing a brand new list. I'm not going to show off my list in this video, but we're going to go over 1 2 3 4 5 6. We're going to go over 6 lists. Am I counting right? Yes, we're going over 6 lists here. Let's start off with the first place list. This first place list is the Kinemon list. Let's go ahead and make it bigger for you guys. All right, boom. So here we have the rocking the 4 Momonoskis. Obviously, that is standard, right? Because this is mainly a Wano list, so you want to be able to search all your Wano cards. Interestingly, there is no Bonnies, no Bonnie searchers, so we're not searching the killers. We're not searching the X-Drakes, we're not searching the Laws, we're not searching this Captain Kidd, and we're not searching Punt Gibson, right? So we're only having a Wano searcher in this list. We have two Kazuki Tokis, 4 killers, 2 choppers, 4 Izos, 2 Raizos, 4 Okikus, 2 Shinobus. We're having 4 Yamatos, 4 Carrots, 4 Yamatos, 2 Laws, 2 X-Drakes, 3 starter deck Kids, which is very interesting. 4 0 or 10 drop Doflamingos, 2 Paradise Waterfalls, and 1 Punt Gibson. The interesting thing about this list is the 4 Yamatos. Now that we don't really have to worry about red too much, I feel like this Yamato here goes super insanely good into Katak Curry, which makes this matchup no longer losable because the Katak Curry has to worry about this and honestly has to probably Thunderbolt as soon as they have it to not be able to let this card swing. Otherwise, they're going to get into deep water because a double attack banish on a leader that kind of relies on trigger is very brutal. And not only that, it burns 2 of their life in 1 attack like that, and you have to rush Katak Curry, right? So if there's a turn where you either get rid of 3 of their cards or 2 of their life, that's a win in your situation. And then obviously besides that, this deck is definitely more Wano focused, but standard from what we've been seeing so far from other Kinemon lists as well. I think 4 Okiku is massive. I think you need the 4 Okiku to be able to see it on curve, and then the 4 Yamato as well. This card is just way too much value to not run 4 of, in my opinion. So yeah, going into this tournament, I didn't expect the Kinemon to win. I wish I could have versed them. I might hit him up and play some matches against them to get some practice. But yeah, overall, I think this list is very nice, and I'm going to be interested to see how well Kinemon does, because I'm not a believer. I'm going to be honest. My partner, Jim, he definitely wanted to talk more about this list, but he wasn't able to make it for this recording. And so he has a lot of good things to say about this deck, and really wants it to do well in Pasadena. But I don't see it. I haven't played against it, but those are my personal thoughts from coming from OP02, where I strictly only played Kinemon. I feel like it still has its flaws, and we're gonna have to find out and see in Pasadena, right? Let's see if a Kinemon can make me eat my words and win the tournament. So that is about all I have to say about that matchup. Next up, Doflamingo. We have another deck here that I can talk a bit about. So here is kind of what the new lists are looking like, guys. So if you want a new list to play Doflamingo with, you've been struggling to find it, do something like this. This is obviously something like I'm running. I feel like this is the new tempo oriented Doflamingo. You have these vanilla 3-drops here. You have 3 Bacarats, 4 Usops, 4 Brooks, right? You're spamming units on board, you're swinging 5, burning cards out of your opponent's hand, and then playing really defensive with obviously your events. And then this is a great tech card that I think should be played. I think 2 of is a perfect number as well. It allows you to block out of a 6K swing, or a 10K swing, right? And on top of that, if you have a 3-drop vanilla, you get to play it on your defensive turn. So on your offensive turn, now you have an extra swing, which means extra offense. And not only that, you're basically playing a 3-drop for 1 of your Dawn, because you leave 1 Dawn open and then you end your turn. Now you're at 3 Dawn. You get to use that 3 Dawn not only to block an attack, but to play a 3-drop, right? So you're playing an offensive card out of your leader's defensive leader ability, right? So I think that's super good value. And yeah, a list like this is definitely what it's going to come down to for the future, for the rest of the set. At least it's going to be like about a month, maybe a little less, until OP05 releases. But regardless, we have 2 Utas. We're not using those as much anymore. Those are more tempo. Playing a raw Uta is definitely more of a tempo killer. Playing a Luffy is a tempo killer, in my opinion. But sometimes, obviously, you need the Utas going into Law, going into Zoro, things like this. Late game, if you need a blocker to rest some of your opponent's units to make your defensive turns a little more easier. But I think, going down to 3 Utas is fine. Going down to 2 Utas is probably fine. I'm going to test more with the ratios here, but for the most part, it is amazing. And then if you guys don't know, one of the matches I played at Katak Curry, he got a Sanji trigger as his last life, and then he had 3 cards in hand. He played the Sanji trigger, trashed a 2K, and he only had 2 cards left in hand after he trashed 1 to play the Sanji. I go 9 cost Kaido. I Dawn -5, KO the Sanji, swing 10. He has 2 cards in hand. He can only block a 9K, and it won me the match, right? So a card like this can definitely surprise your opponents, especially Katak Curry, when they like to, hold on to a trigger at the end or hold on to a beige at the end. You can get rid of their last life, not have to worry about having the Kaido on board. Get rid of their last life. They beige trigger. They can't do anything with it. They Sanji blocker. You can still KO it, or if it's like a Brule, however you say it, you can KO it. You're swinging 10 for game, which is really, really good. And yeah, I think this list is good. You run a little more 2Ks now, so your searches are less bricky. And overall, you're running a lot more film cards. So honestly, you shouldn't brick too much, because here are your brick cards. You have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 events that are bricks. 10, 11, 12, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cards. You have 16 cards that can only brick. The rest is all film package. Obviously, if Anami's searching, Anami can't search Anami, so add a couple more cards. If a Buena Festa is not searching, add a couple more Buena Festa cards. But overall, you should not be breaking on your film searches. So this is, good news in that regard. You can spam your searches and get a big hand, like Whitebeard level big. And but yeah, guys, test out some of this good stuff here. This is a great list, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and get right into the next one. We're gonna be fast on this one here. I think the kid. I think the kid is also a really good deck here. Obviously, taking in the Craigs. The Craigs, you want to It's good into the mirror. It's good into Katak Curry sometimes. It's pretty good into Kinemon, right? Because they like to have their Okikus up. They like to have their Yamatos on board. And you could get some nice gnarly kills with Craigs. I've definitely been thinking about taking one into my list on Doflamingo, but we'll see how that goes. But for the most part, yeah, this is more of a standard list. You know, you're rocking your Luffy's, your Brooks, your Nami's, your Zoros, and your Bardos, right? So if you're gonna play Film Kid, this is definitely like a high tier deck and a good list here for you guys to try out. Not much to say about this. Obviously, I'm not the greatest Film Kid player. I played it a little bit in set 2, but not too much. Nothing to be like, oh, I'm efficient on this deck. I can give you guys tips and stuff like this. But yeah, I mean, just, you know, you play your film package, you see your cards, you know, your 10 drops on value, and yeah, I mean, it's a solid list. That's all I got to say about that. I'm going to definitely do more testing. Pasadena is coming up real soon in a couple of days, and so I definitely need to be ready for that. I don't want to disappoint anybody, and honestly myself. I want to have a good placing, and so, you know, I'm going to try my best and see what I could do. But next up, we have Katak Curry, right? Katak Curry is still in that top echelon. Katak Curry is a tier 1 deck and only got better with the new bans and restriction. And so here we have a list. This is actually my brother's list. So he got 4th place. He went 5-1, and so this is his list. He did misplay on the match he lost. He showed me, and he could have actually won it if he just didn't make a stupid mistake. But obviously, you know, he has to get his reps up, and he's definitely out of practice. And so we've been practicing up, and we know we're gonna be ready for Pasadena. But let's go ahead and go right into the list. I keep yapping and going off topic, but here we have 3 Shirahoshis, 4 Strusen, 1 Brule, interestingly, 4 Puddings, that's mandatory, 2 Sanjis. I think there's certain matches where you kind of want a Sanji turn 1, but we'll save that for another video. 4 Capones, mandatory, your 4 Amandes. And then obviously here we have 4 Pero, 4 Cracker, and 4 Sanji. So those by themselves gives you 12 triggers to swing tempo early on. If you get one of those 2 or one of these 3 cards in your top 2 life, right, and just can swing tempo with a free unit, especially if they're Peros, it can be insane, right? So my brother had a match where he played and he got a Cracker double swing off on the opposing Katak Curry. The opposing Katak Curry's first life and second life were both Pero triggers, and so he instantly got hit with that, right? And it was just a bad time from there. 2 Randolphs. We're moving away from the 6-drop Pero Sparrows because I feel like those cards are really bad in Katak Curry now. And my personal opinion is if you're versing blue like a Croc deck or something with removal, right? You play your Pero at 6 Dawn, right? On let's say you played on curve, right? You go 6 Dawn on curve. Now this Croc can play a Soga King for 7 and send it back, basically wasting your whole turn. So I think in a turn like this, you definitely want to go like maybe summon a Cracker, maybe summon a Pero, attach one onto your leader, swing 7, check life, get information. If you have a Pero on board or another unit on board, maybe attach 2 onto that unit, swing another 7, right? You want to play a little more tempo oriented, especially because you want to burn the Croc's life down early before it gets too late. And so I feel like just utilizing your Dawn in much better ways rather than just going swing 5 with leader, swing 5 with Pero. You're playing down a 6-drop and then they just get rid of it and put it back to your hand. I feel like that feels really bad instead of, you know, you getting information, checking life, swinging double 7 and then playing like a Pero in hand. Obviously that's a hypothetical situation, but I feel like that feels a lot better. I like the 2 Linlins here. The 2 Katak Curries, I agree with this spread, the 2, 2, and 2, because for the most part, you know, at 8 Dawn, you can still swing 7 with leader and play a Linlin. So regardless if you see the Katak Curry at 8 Dawn or not, it's okay because you have the Linlin to back it up. And then on curve, you can play this Yamato, right? So now we're taking in 2 Yamato just to heal life in certain situations, maybe on curve if you don't have the 10 mom. But it feels really good to go 9 Yamato, maybe KO a small unit, heal a life, and then 10 mom the next turn. And you can still do a lot of work without having the 4 Katak Curries. I know some lists used to run 3. But yeah, obviously, guys, this is still an amazing list. You can literally trigger yourself into a win. That's Katak Curry's forte, right? You play the casino, are you gonna win or are you gonna lose? Let's put you know, all your money down on yellow and let's see if it hits. That is Katak Curry. And then here we have a spicy Arlong list. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about this deck here. I actually ended up losing to this on my last round, so I would have been in this placing here. So He runs 2 Heavenly Fires. I'll give you guys a little brief of what happened. So I played 2 early Namis. He had both of his Heavenly Fires in his hand. So he got rid of both of my Namis, and I'm like at 5-6 life. And then earlier on, he had swung a double attack with his Cracker, but me being just not versed in this matchup as well as I should be. AKA, I had versed in Arlong 0 times ever since OP03 released. OP03, I played him for like 2 weeks, and then I never played him again, never played it against them again. Anyway, so I blocked out a Cracker for 3,000 life, and then at end game, I had a lot of life, and he had a lot of life, so he's just going 9 Yamato, go ahead, let me kill your Luffy, a 7-drop. I'm like, oh, this is bad. Now, oh, okay. He sees another one, oh, let me heal a life, let me kill your Law Blocker that you played. Okay. So I definitely played into the Arlong's game just because I was unaware of the situation on how these decks utilize their cards. So definitely great information that I learned. Shout outs to him. He was a great player. Definitely had all the answers to everything I was doing. But yeah, this is, it's Arlong. At the end of the day, it's Arlong, guys. Like, I mean, you can catch people off guard, but like as soon as people learn the matchup again, because I definitely forgot how to play against this, and obviously there's a new cards in this deck list to be able to do some more spicy things. But obviously, like if I just take that early double swing at my life and then allow him to play the Namis in my hand, that's fine. A couple of turns where I just don't swing at his board with like 1 unit up, then he's forced to swing at my life. I can go down in life. Now his Yamatos aren't active, right? Now I keep a 7 Luffy on board. Now I keep a 5 Law on board. Have a 10 drop if he swings for game. I'm Doflamingo, so I'm gonna be able to block out and then not have a target for my 10 drop. And just so just a small factor like that definitely made me lose the game for sure, right? I just gave him 2 cards, and then now he's just putting more life in after I just blocked 2 life. So instead of being at 2 life, so his Yamato's not active in the end game, I'm at 5 life, right? Because he put a Nami in and I blocked out the attack. But regardless, this list is just it's an Arlong list, guys. I mean, I don't want to get your guys' hopes up and say, oh, this deck is going to win Pasadena. I highly doubt that. I think Kinemon has a better chance than winning than Arlong does. But yeah, shout outs to him. He ended up getting he got 5th place, so shout outs to him. That was his Arlong list. And then we have a new law list, and we are going to show it off real quick before we end this video. I definitely was going to make this video earlier, but I wanted to have at least a little bit of data to show you guys. This is not by no means a tier list, but I do want to just show off kind of, the decks that were being ran and played and tested at this event, which is very good information going into Pasadena, kind of seeing what people are thinking of, right? Obviously, it's a very small sample size, so it's not the greatest factor going into Pasadena. Like, this is not the tell-all be-all, but here we have more of a Wano list. I think there are some cards that might overlap, if I'm not mistaken, that are Wano and Supernova, or I might be mistaken. But regardless, you got your Wano package with You Can Be My Samurai, which, you rest 2 units and you can draw 2 cards if you're a brick. That's amazing. You got your Gordons to cycle your hand. You play your Gordon. You bottom deck a card, you draw a card, right? So get rid of your bricks. It lets you definitely keep up that tempo. Not as good as before because you can't search the exact cards you want. But it's definitely still some spice, right? It still goes fast. I think you still have a good time against Katak Curry if you're seeing your cards and you're getting the early shambles off. But for the most part, the deck does take a small step back because you can't fill up the board as easily anymore, right? Because before you go Dadan, Nami, Dadan, and you just fill up the board. ST Nami, Dadan, Nami, you search a Nami, and now you got shambles the next turn. Even if your opponent kills 1 or 2 things, for the most part you would still be able to shambles turn 3 almost very efficiently with the old list, just because of the amount of searches and card generation. Now if you want to search, you have to play a Bonnie or a Momonosuke and then search for 2, but leaving them rested. So you kind of only ever want to do that when they're safe to pick up already, which is definitely not earlier on, especially if they're able to rest your units and swing at them. But this list is still fast, and I mean it can still definitely do work, right? It's law at the end of the day. If law sees 4 of its Trafalgar Law blockers, and it's seeing its cards, being able to pick up the Nami, play no Kiku or play a Zoro, rushing down your units, and then they're just doing their restand law things, it's just gonna be game. So definitely law did take a hit, but it can still do some work. Would I put it in top 3? Probably not. I would not put it as a top 3 deck. Maybe top 5 as of now. But I've still yet to have a lot of practice against law. I did verse one law player and I ended up taking it. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what we have for Pasadena. All right, guys, but that is going to be it for this video. We went over the total decks breakdown. We went through the top 16s, how many of each were topping. So we have a good idea of kind of what we're going to see in Pasadena, at least a small sample size of it, which is better than nothing, honestly. So shout out to Eggman. This is his website. I don't know if you guys saw. Let's go ahead and go on to it real quick. Eggman Events, right here. I'm gonna leave the link to the link in the description to this website. Amazing website. He always does an amazing job with all these deck breakdowns and stuff like that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope I see all of you guys at Pasadena. We're all gonna be there. Me, my 2 brothers, all of my friends, Jim, who helps me run this channel. He's basically my partner. Shout out to him. You guys make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, comment down below if you're going to Pasadena, if we're going to see each other. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be my very first offline tournament, so I'm super excited for that, and hopefully I can attend more. I might go to the one in December, the 3-on-3, and then obviously I'll be at Nationals at the Los Angeles Convention Center. Without further ado, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. You guys have a wonderful day. Peace.